All right, everybody, good morning. Welcome to today's workshop with Heather Taylor from Glitter Girl Media. Today we are having a great workshop about Instagram. While we are going through our workshop today, just know that it's being recorded. It will be shared with you later today, along with the slides. You can, throughout Heather's going to pause every once in a while to answer questions, but also you can type in the chat or in the Q&A. You can also raise your hand if you want to speak directly. So with that, that's my spiel. So I will hand the reins over to Heather.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Laura. Just a real quick caveat. We were having some sound issues. Laura, can you hear me good now?
I can. It's a little echoey, but I can hear you clearer.
Okay, perfect. So just a couple of caveats before we get started. First, shout out to my friends Colleen and Loretta for being here. Good to see you guys. I am always super thrilled to do any kind of a workshop or presentation with SCORE because it is such an amazing organization. If you guys are not currently working with a SCORE mentor, please make sure you check that out. There's definitely one in your area. So see what you need to do to get involved there. And, caveats specific to this presentation. Everything that we're going to talk about today is absolutely free. We're not talking about paid social, Instagram, ads, that kind of thing. This is absolutely organic social media posting at its best. So there are people who do that as a specialty. And so this presentation is kind of a nice 360-degree view of Instagram and how you can use it to build your business. So when I get started on a program, I like to start by setting everyone's expectations where they should be for social media, right? So we always talk about what social media isn't, because I think a lot of people have preconceived notions about what their social media should do for them and how this marketing should affect their business without having, gone through the trenches and actually utilizing the platform. So I'm going to start by telling you social media in general is not free. Well, it kind of contradicts what I just said, right? In that we're going to talk about non-paid social. But social media either costs you time or it costs you money. Now, most of us who have started out as solopreneurs, new business owners, that kind of thing, we have more time than we have budget, right? So it makes sense for us to start doing the social media for ourselves first and take the time because that's the commodity that we have versus, the money's not flowing like it will be later on. So, if we get to that pinch and things are starting to pick up and we get busier and, we're doing all of the things, then maybe it's time to find someone to manage our social media marketing for us. But either way, social media is not free. You're going to spend one way or the other. Social media is not a flash in the pan. Most platforms have been around now for over 20 years. They're not going anywhere, especially the big four. The big four for me would be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I consider Google Business Profiles the one that rounds out the big four. Those are not going anywhere. They will change, and they will likely change tomorrow, but they're definitely not going anywhere, right? I had a presentation like I'm doing for you guys today on LinkedIn changed to the degree that my entire presentation was outdated the morning that I was to give the presentation. I had to go back through and adjust everything because they change the platforms when they want to change the platforms. They're not reaching out to us as creators or users and saying, hey, what do you think? They just make the change. So please know they're not going anywhere. They're probably going to come out with even more platforms. There are hundreds right now, right? We just don't use them all. There's Snap, there's TikTok, there's all the things, Pinterest, and ones that you've never even heard of, but they're out there. So please know, social media is not going anywhere. So it is not a matter anymore of whether or not you are going to do social media marketing. You have to do it. It is part of the cost of doing business. The question is going to be how well do you do it and how effective is it in helping you build your business? social media is definitely not a replacement for your sales team. We still need those boots on the ground, real live human beings out there sharing our message, right? And by the way, it takes those human beings to also work on the social media. So basically, your Instagram account is just going to be a tool for your sales team to draw in new prospective clients and to communicate with them. So this is not a replacement for Bob, the sales guy, right? Yes, it would be great if we didn't have to pay that income, but Bob's job has a purpose, and this is just another tool that you're providing to him or her, you know, whoever the case may be in sales, to get out there and do what they do, right? It's just another tool that you're giving them. So please note, this isn't a replacement for those real life people that are out there meeting your next great client. Social media is, and this pains me to say, every time I say it, it makes me cringe a little bit, but it's true. Social media is not your entire marketing strategy. And I don't care what kind of business you own. There's still, you know, are you a member of your local chamber of commerce, regional chamber of commerce, trade organizations where you're talking shop with people who do what you do? Are you doing print advertising? Are you doing other types of digital advertising? We all have a website, right? That's part of your marketing. So all of these things are just cogs in the wheel of all of the marketing that we need to be doing to get in front of that next great client and hopefully convert them to a buyer. Okay, I always refer to this part as the non-sexy portion of the show. Facts and demographics are generally not my thing, but I think it's important for you to know these things, especially if you're still at the stage where you are determining, is Instagram the right platform for my business? It will tell you not any platform is for everyone who's in business, with the exception of, I will rally behind Google. Google, absolutely every business should be on. Instagram, we're going to find out. Okay. So here are just a couple of facts. 1 billion monthly users. Now, I don't care what kind of business you have, what vertical you are in, you know, likely some of your clientele is on Instagram. So completely independent of demographic, age, gender. Out of 1 billion users a month, I promise you, some of your market is on Instagram. So 71% of US businesses are using Instagram for marketing. I will tell you, I'm shocked that that number is not larger, but I also need to remember that a whole lot of the people who are using social media are my age or older, and they haven't quite made the jump necessarily. They're all probably all on Facebook, but Instagram can sometimes be a foreign country to them. My mother is closing in on 70. She's on Facebook every single day. She will not get on Instagram. So for her, again, it's a foreign country. So I would have thought that number would be larger, but I need to remember, not everyone has adopted this platform as their social media platform. I love this. Instagram helps 80% of its users decide to buy a product or service. 80% of people are paying attention to Instagram to find out what to buy, what services to use, all of that good stuff. So yeah, for me, it's very imperative that I be a part of Instagram for my business. Here's your demographics. Instagram actually skews more female. 43% of women and 31% of men are using the platform. Here are your largest demographic groups, and you can see it skews a bit younger than Facebook will, right? And that's okay. So just so you guys know, two things I want to tell you about social media, and then one about Instagram in particular. Social media is nothing other than arrows pointing to your business. It is not a conversion tool, though those conversions sometimes happen on social. Of course it does. You see those fun little Facebook ads. We see that somebody's having an event we want to go to. We see that somebody's got a product or service we're interested in, and we buy right away. That's not actually what social media is designed to do. It's designed to get them from that platform to your website. So just remember that. We can have great content all day, but at the end of the day, we're trying to get them off of that platform and onto your website. And why? Because guess who else is on Facebook? Every one of your competitors, I promise you, is on Facebook. They're on Instagram. We need to get them and convert them from here and get them to our website where there is no competition. If they're going to make a buying decision, guess who they're going to buy from? If they're on your website, they're gonna buy from you. And that's where we want to position them. The next thing I will say about social is you guys are probably more in tune with Facebook than you are Instagram. And Instagram is just the exact flip of Facebook, right? Facebook leads with the copy and supports that with a picture or a graphic. Instagram leads with the graphic and supports with the content. So just bear in mind, it's pretty much the exact same platform, just in a different outfit. So you don't need to necessarily create, I'm gonna put this content on Facebook and this content on Instagram. It's an exact mirror. So many times you can use the exact same content, okay? And this is the standard that Hootsuite uses for their annual income. 42% of those who are on Instagram make more than $75,000 annually. This number is definitely important for those who have a product or service that is only used by people, couples, families, whatever you have that has ancillary income. If it's a luxury item, it's something like that, that's when this would come into play. But that's the number that Hootsuite uses, so that's the number I can give. So let's take a look at your Instagram business account. And you can designate it as a professional account, which I have done. So this is just a quick overview of what it looks like, right? You've got your icon, your avatar. Make sure that it's sized correctly. A lot of times I see logos that are hanging off of the edges. That's very easy to size down, especially if you have a tool that we're going to talk about later, and I'll show you that when we get there. I implore you, make sure that your name is spelled correctly on here. If you're shortening it because you have to, I totally get that. However, I have seen people that just have a typo in it. Makes it very difficult for people to find you if they can't just type in your name and try and find you, right? I don't know why you jumped out of the PowerPoint. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to get back in there. I don't know what button I hit. Bear with me. I have to go and open it again. I wasn't even touching the mouse at that point. Hang on just a second. I'm sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. That's where I need to be. Here we go. So there's the two we already did. And then your content, your actual about section on Instagram is key because this is where you're going to put all those search terms and keywords that people may be looking for when they're looking for a business like yours, right? So social media is in my marketing, LinkedIn Superfan. And of course, I have all of my links to get to whatever website that I would like to drive you to, which happens to be the Political Media website. So just key, put as much in this section as you can. You only have a certain number of characters, but you want to use as close to as the maximum as you can, right? That just means more search terms, important words in your business vertical so that people can find you. Do you have a question, Laura? Well, I see somebody said it's hard to hear. I am on top of the microphone. Is this any better? You guys let me know.
It just seems like there's an echo almost sometimes, but other times it's clearer.
Okay. I have to get a new microphone. Maybe we've worn it out. I don't know. It's a, you asked if it was Bluetooth. It's hardwired, so I'm not sure why we're getting, some days it's great and some days it's not. Maybe I'll just have to invest in another one. So I apologize, you guys. Here we go. Instagram business account. So we're gonna go through the anatomy of a feed post, right? So you have your, your Instagram handle is at the top. Again, make sure that's spelled correctly. You've got your images and videos. Video is important. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. There should be a call to action, right? See where it says learn more at number 3. Any kind of customizable button is fantastic. And that's where it's going to lead, probably to a page on your website, so just be aware there. And then number 4 is the content, right? That's what people are there to read to support that picture that you have posted. Okay, so factors that influence the Instagram algorithm. And by the way, the algorithms are constantly changing. So if someone tells you that they have it all figured out and you're going to be at the top of the column, used to be page 1, right? You're on page 1 of Google. Oh, that'd be nice, except for there is only one page of Google now. But the algorithms for every platform are constantly changing, and it can really affect where you fall in the lineup and how often you are seen online. So number 1 is interest. Your feed isn't just based on who you follow, but it's also influenced by the accounts and types of posts you've liked in your history on Instagram. Of course, Instagram wants to keep you coming back because A, they have bills to pay, and their advertisers want to make sure that you're seeing their ads. So they want to keep you on that platform as long as they can. So how do they do that? They show you content that they think that you are very interested in, right? So they will try and find content that will mirror the content that you have already liked and interacted with so they can keep you coming back. Relationship. They want to prioritize posts from your friends, your family, the accounts you care about, the brands that you interact with. So they're going to rank those people higher on your feed than other organizations. I mean, we all have, I'm going to say, tens, hundreds, thousands of people that we follow. This is how they determine which ones you see more often, okay? Timeliness. The algorithm pays attention to how long ago photos were posted. At some point, and again, that number always changes, things are flagged as old. I can tell you on Facebook, after 4 days, and this is just a heads up for anyone who's doing Facebook ads, anytime after 4 days, even advertisements, paid advertisements on Facebook are flagged as old content. So when I do run a paid program, I never run it for longer than 4 days. Because why would I pay for something and have it flagged as old, right? I need to spend my money wisely on that. Same thing with content, right? You need to make sure that you're posting in a timely manner so that people are constantly having the opportunity to see you. If you're only posting once a week, at some point, it's flagged as old, and people are going to have less of an opportunity to see it, and you want to eliminate that. Frequency. How often do you open the app? Even that affects the algorithm and what you see in your feed. So obviously, the more often the better, and they will try and make sure that they keep you coming back, and they will tailor make your content to make sure that they can keep capturing you and keep you coming back. Following. How many people do you follow on Instagram? Even that affects the algorithm. I will tell you, one of the steps that we talk about later is we all want to get followers, right? You do not want to buy them. That's the biggest mistake that I have seen people, well, second biggest mistake. The second biggest mistake I've seen people do on Instagram is buy followers. By and large, the followers that you're buying have nothing to do with your business. They're probably from a foreign country. So unless that is your target market, it will actually hurt you to add those followers to your Instagram account. Okay, you only want to try and capture followers that will pay attention and interact with you. So be very aware, and we'll talk about, following people with a purpose here in a little bit, but followers are easier to gain when you are a follower yourself. So just a heads up there, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Usage. If you're going to spend a lot of time on Instagram, you're going to see more posts because Instagram is going to dig deeper in its coffers to try and show you the kinds of content that they believe you want to see. So just know, the longer you spend on there, the more tailor-made your content will be for you in that, especially if you interact with brands, kinds of posts, different profiles, they're going to try and match that for you. So your feed actually will be more tailor-made to you the more that you use it. Get this question a lot. Should I be posting static posts? Should I be doing stories, reels? We're going to talk about those different things just so you have an idea. Ultimately, it's your choice. I will give you guys the heads up that I am more of a static person, post person by and large, although I'm going to tell you, you need to post some video as well. Okay, so I'm going to get into it. Maximum length of a story on Instagram is 60 seconds, right? Here's your story dimensions. And I believe, Laura, that you still send out a copy of this presentation for everyone. Is that correct?
Yes, I will be sending that later.
Perfect. So you don't need to take copious notes. She's going to send it to you. So you'll have all the dimensions, the times, all that kind of thing at your disposal. Okay. So story dimensions are 1080 by 1920. And I'm going to show you a tool that will have you sizing them like a champ. Okay. Instagram Reels have a maximum reel length of 90 seconds. And here's the recommended ratio for Reels videos. There's actually a graphics program called Canva. I know that some of you are probably already steeped in it. Some of you aren't familiar with it, but it actually has the correct sizing for Reels, and you can create your graphics right from there. It's fabulous. So what's the difference between stories and Reels in your Instagram feed? Okay, so we've got a regular post. This is why I tend to, for my social media clients, most of our content is a regular post because it's longer lasting. I want it to stay out there as long as I can, because if somebody comes across their brand, I want people to be able to see the content we put out there. Instagram stories, though, are great if you are at a special event, if you are doing a behind the scenes kind of a thing. It's more a special, kind of post as opposed to the everyday. Now, I know people who do nothing but post stories all day long. All day long, they're doing it. For me, it's just not the way that I do things personally. I do like to infuse them though. So we don't always want the same kind of content, right? We need to mix it up. So that it should be a nice mix of the two, right? Here's stories versus reels. Stories disappear after 24 hours. The reels will stay on your feed. So for me, that's a benefit, right? Hard to be featured on hashtag pages. Well, yeah, because they're going to disappear, right? You're not going to be indexed in the list of hashtag content as people are searching because the content's gone, right? People who don't follow you Instagram can actually see your reels. They cannot see stories. They have to be followers. And they can also, reels can be saved and they're easy for people to share. So if you're going to go video, I would say reels versus stories with a mix of those in with this tag. Okay. So why use them? Stay top of mind, right? It's just another way to push more information out about your brand. So it's a great way to do that. Diversity in your strategy, right? We talked about this. So you've got static stuff. We want to, if we want to call attention to something, you guys know, if you're scrolling through your feed and you see movement, oh, that catches your eye, right? And it's a diverse marketing strategy. I love using stories and reels for real-time marketing. People know what's going on now. It's fabulous, especially if you have, you're interviewing a new team member. You're showing off a new product. You're in the middle of an event and you're posting that. It's a great way to share information organically and in real time with your followers. They're fun. You can absolutely have fun doing stories and reels. Hang on just a second. Sorry, just need to take a sip. Wow, I got dry fast. Video and stories are things that you can always have fun with. To make sure that you make them worthy of video, right? Just putting up a video for video's sake is not the way to go. You want to have fun with it. Maintain your visibility on your followers' page, right? Again, you're going to catch that eye if you're doing a story or a reel because people are going to notice it as they're scrolling. And it's a great way to connect with your target audience. We'll talk about this later, but posts that are videos are viewed an average of 48% more times than a regular post. This is your perfect opportunity to connect with that target audience. Big question too, how do I build my followers on Instagram? Because our content can be fabulous, right? But if we don't have followers, it's basically that tree that fell in the woods and nobody heard, right? It can be the most perfect, graphically eye-pleasing thing, but if there are no eyes on it, how effective will it be for your business? Probably not very, right? Invite people to like your page. And I will tell you, it's absolutely imperative to start with the low hanging fruit. Your family. Your family should support you as a business owner, right? They're gonna follow you. Your friends, your kids' contacts, right? You have kids in sports, you have kids in, combined classes, that kind of thing. Church friends, ask them to follow you. And here's a big one. And I think people overlook it a lot. I feel like they're gonna be, a pain or inappropriate if they ask. Your fellow business owners are probably more likely, they're probably right up there with your family as far as following, because they also want followers. They understand how difficult it is to get that following and maintain it, right? So make sure that you're asking everyone to follow your feed, right? Talked about a little bit earlier, to gain a follower, be a follower. But there should be a strategy, right? It's not just, I'm gonna click on a bunch of people and, hope for the best. We don't do the, spray and pray method, right? That's not methodology. So here's a little hint that I tell people to look at. When you're going through and considering who to follow, because by the way, you only have a certain number of followers that you can ask for in an hour, right? They want to make sure that people are just not doing that crazy, I'm gonna invite everybody and see how it goes kind of thing. So Instagram limits you. So when you're looking for the accounts to follow, make sure you look at their number of followers. That means the people who are following them versus the number of people they are following. And a good rule to live by is if they have more people that they are following than are following them, they're probably very reticent to add someone and be a follower for them. So that's where I'm going to spend my time. If I see an organization that has 10,000 followers, but they only follow 3 people, what are the odds they're going to follow me back? Probably pretty bad, unless I'm, somebody of note, a public figure, whatever the case may be. It's just not part of their marketing strategy to actually follow people back. I think that's a terrible strategy, but for some people, that's the way that they do it. So if I see somebody only has 100 followers, but they're following 1,000 people, the chances are pretty good that they will follow my page, right? They may not interact with me, but they might, right? All we're looking for is that at bat, right? We're just looking for that opportunity. So I tend to follow people who tend to follow other people back, right? It's simple. Do you have a question, Laura, or are we good?
Let's see. Oh, no, no, go ahead, keep going.
Okay. Other opportunities to build your business page following. Add a button on your website. I can't believe how many people have a website, but they don't have links to their social platforms. Make sure those buttons are in place. I know when I'm interacting with a brand, and if I'm on their website, I go looking for that because I would like to follow them, right? Make sure you're giving them that opportunity. Any opportunity that you can take to make it easier for people to follow your brand, the better. Put it on your business cards. Most of us, okay, maybe not most of us, but a lot of us have that back page of our business card that isn't even in use. Put all of your social handles on there. Let people know where to go and follow you on your cards. Listed in your email signature. Now, I don't have every platform listed in mine, but if Instagram is my go-to account, you better believe that I'm going to have a link to my Instagram in my signature. For me, I'm a B2B business, which means I am a business to business person. So I have my LinkedIn link there. But if I were in retail, if I were in any kind of a business vertical where I feel Facebook and Instagram would be my go-tos, I would have a link to that in my email signature. And by the way, it's free. Add it on the bottom of your letterhead. If you're sending out invoices, if you're sending out any kind of correspondence still that's in print, put your handles at the bottom of it. You're already paying for the sheet of paper, right? Doesn't cost you any more to have those added. Okay. Make sure you have signage at your POS or cash wrap. If you have a brick and mortar and people are coming in to buy from you, do care. If you're in retail, if you're a florist, make sure you've got that signage that says, hey, follow us here. You can even use a QR code and let them hover right over it and boom. They don't even have to type in your name, right? You just go right to your Instagram and follow you. It's fabulous. And again, you can make your own sign, put it together on Canva. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And put it in a little acrylic frame. Make it first professional looking, Make sure that QR code works, but you can actually craft that yourself. Invite your email subscribers. That should be at the bottom of every one of your emails, right? Hey, don't forget to follow us here. Check out what we're talking about on Instagram, and then a link to your page. Great. And again, free. Post on your receipts. We talked about that. All this information, and you can put a QR code absolutely anywhere in that. So make sure you're putting it on your receipts. And most of all, when you want to build your followers, make sure you're concentrating on your content. It's very easy, relatively, to get someone to click through and follow you on Instagram. It's not necessarily easy to keep them. So your content is what keeps them. Your work in going out and following and asking others to follow you is, that's the hunting method, and then you have to nurture it, right? We're gonna plant the seed by getting them to follow our page. The content is what keeps them there and helps the plants grow. Hashtags are a big deal on Instagram because they are indexed on Instagram and searchable. So I want to find out what's going on with any particular hashtag, and we're going to talk about what those are here in a minute. Instagram is the number one place to do that, right? So a hashtag is just a phrase that connects social media content to a specific topic, event, theme, or conversation, right? It's a file folder. That hashtag is where all of the posts that have that particular hashtag in are in one spot. Okay, so any content that I have that is out there that has hashtag Glitter Girl Media, if I search that on Instagram, every single post that has that included will pop up. Now, am I going to read them all? Probably not. Now, there are some hashtags out there that won't have any. There are some that will have really few, but you have some that will have millions of pieces of content. For instance, if you are looking up hashtag social media marketing, 23 million plus posts have that particular hashtag, right? It was a very generic and broad, very nondescript hashtag to use. So if I want to know what's going on, I can very quickly sort through there and see if anything that's in here catches my eye, right? So why should you use a hashtag? Lots of reasons. Gain followers. If somebody's searching for a particular hashtag and you're very active in there, chances are they're going to see your content. And if it resonates with them, they will, of course, follow your brand. Increase engagement. If you're looking to get more likes, shares, follows, it's a great way to do it. If, when I'm sure you guys remember a few years ago when the hashtag Me Too went viral, and it was all over the news, it was all over the internet. That definitely increased engagement, right? If you had something hashtag and told your story with hashtag Me Too, people would almost automatically, because they understood you were part of a bigger social pattern. So just a heads up, it actually can increase your engagement. Again, show support for social issues, right? Hashtag thin blue line. Hashtag, I'm trying to think, LGBTQ. It can be any kind of a social issue, but if you put that hashtag on a post, it's going to show your support and solidarity with that particular social issue, right? So you can use it that way. You can add context to a post. And this is the example I always give. I was walking through my house on a Monday. Of course, it was Monday. I tripped over probably nothing and spilled my coffee on the floor. And of course, I'm thinking, it's Monday. This is the Mondayest Monday ever. So I took a picture of the mess, posted it on Facebook, said happy Monday, hashtag bad hair day. That doesn't mean anything, and no one is going to be looking up that hashtag necessarily, but it gave context to that post. Anyone who read it knew exactly what I meant by bad hair, right? So you can add context to a post just by adding an hashtag. And help your target audience find you, right? A lot of times they're even looking for content like yours, but they don't know where to start. If they don't know your name to type it in, how are they to find you? Well, using a hashtag puts you at least in play if someone is looking for that particular search. Now, here's a great question I get all the time. This is all wonderful. I know I need to use it. What should I post? So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas, right? And first, we're going to start with what not to use, okay? unless you're doing stories, you do not use vertically oriented pics on Instagram because they get cut off. Anything that I create, and I will tell you, this is for me, every platform is 1080 by 1080 pixels because I know that shape and size will fit on any social media platform up to and including YouTube. Instagram is the sticky wicket, right? Like you can post something very vertically oriented on Facebook. You're going to get those ugly black bars on the side, but you can post it. Instagram is very specifically square oriented. So the square will fit there. It'll fit on LinkedIn. It'll fit on Google. I promise you, if you use that 1080 by 1080, you will not be disappointed. A lot of people find images that they like, but they're grainy or fuzzy. I promise you, you can find another one, right? Don't use that because that is reflective of your brand. Okay. You don't want people to think, well, they don't really care about the graphics. They don't really care how their, graphics look. That's not the visual that I want to give for my brand. Do not use pre-made memes with typos. Sometimes I see the funniest meme ever and I'm like, oh, there's no apostrophe there. Or, ooh, that's the wrong two. Or there, right? I won't use it. I will see if I can find another one and then use it. And this is the big no-no, right? Do not use graphics with branding or websites on there unless you are very familiar with where that website or that link leads. They will tell you, I know more than one business who has used a graphic with someone else's website posted right into it. And it was an inappropriate or an adult website. Unless that is aligned with your brand, this is not a place that you want to send your followers, right? So be very aware of every single piece that is on any graphic that you use if you didn't create it, okay? There's another caveat. That is probably the third most important thing you need to know about social. I talked about the second and the third. I'm going to tell you the first now, even though it doesn't relate to where we are now. Be very careful when you allow interns to be the ones who are in charge of your social platforms. I love interns. They have their place for sure. And I think intern programs are fantastic. But intern programs are to teach those individuals interested in your kind of business how to behave. That means they are there to learn from you, not to be the face of your business. And I know it's extremely tempting to think, oh, not only is their help free, because y'all like that price point, but they're also young, so they'll know what to post. I promise you they don't. Unless they are trained in sales and marketing and very well steeped in your particular business, they are not the right people to be posting for you. You need to be trained, just like you. If you are a business owner, and thank goodness you're here, if you're wanting to learn, you're actually going out and getting that continuing education, right? You need to make sure that whoever is doing your posting is knowledgeable enough about your product or service that they can represent you correctly and that they have a sales and marketing background and know how to write that content. Okay, just a heads up. When it comes to your post, here's what you need to ask yourself. Is this post something I would want to see? I think many times we get so mired down as business owners about what we need to say that we don't think of how it may be received by the end user. All that matters is, what does the reader need to hear? It's not about what you want to say. It's what they need to hear to get them to make a move. Go to your website, pick up the phone, ask you for an appointment. Whatever that action is, you need to make sure. If you were reading your posts and you didn't know about your business, is it something you would want to see? Does this post speak to my audience? If you are way off base and you have we'll go political for a second, you have a super liberal audience or, prospect base, and you posting a bunch of conservative posts, guess what? It's not going to resonate with them and you're probably going to lose followers. So make sure you are speaking to your audience. Is this post on brand for my company? A lot of times I see beautiful graphics. They're totally off brand for my particular business, but they were on brand for whoever posted them. So make sure that you have a brand, is it your voice that people are hearing? Is it your corporate contents that you're putting out there? Does it look like your brand, that kind of thing. Make sure that all of your posts are on brand for your particular company. And this is very important. If I post this, will our followers want to read more? That's huge. I think it's great that I can actually look at someone's, posts in my feed, and many times I can tell who it's for without seeing a logo or looking to the left. They are so on brand, and it's very interesting to me because that's why I follow them, right? That I love reading more. And I'll give you a heads up. If any of you do not follow Wendy's on Instagram, Wendy's should be the next brand that you follow. They're fantastic. I don't know who does their content, but they need a raise and a frosty. They're fabulous. So just remember when you're writing content, what would make your followers want to read more? It should be very, very top of mind. Posts that convey your company's vibe. Our companies all have a vibe. It may be different to outsiders than it is to us, but it shouldn't necessarily be, right? So how do you want to be perceived in social media? Friendly, approachable, that kind of thing. Creative. Are you a creative person and you want everybody to know, this was, born of me, whatever that looks like. Knowledgeable. I think we all want to be seen as knowledgeable, right? We all want to be the person who, is the go-to in whatever business we are in. So being knowledgeable helps us solidify that. Yeah. Okay, I can't pull this one off, but there are plenty of brands that come off as hip. And if that's part of your vibe, your post should convey that. Philanthropic. If you are very passionate at your company about a particular nonprofit organization or some kind of a cause, you can absolutely weave that into your content. And you should, right? That should be part of your corporate vibes. Here we go. Video, video, video. I told you before, you don't want every post to be a video. I promise you there is no one that I follow. I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan, and they have plenty of content that is not video. There's nobody that I find interesting enough that I'm going to watch endless videos, right? I want to see one once in a while. I want it to be part of a bigger plan. That said, social media posts, we talked about this already, that have a video have 48% more views than those that don't. Keep you short, no one, and I know, think about how you look on social. Are you watching a 20-minute video on any platform? I'm going to say likely no. So just little snippets is what's appropriate on social media. If you have a longer video and someone is interested, you can always do a link to your website, to a YouTube channel, and let them finish watching it if they like. But just remember, you've got seconds to catch these people on social media platforms. So 90 seconds or less, period. Here's some ideas for video content. It's hard to come up with, right? I don't know what to make a video about. Product launches. If you have a new product or service, that's a great opportunity to put together an interesting and informative video. Behind the scenes stuff. Everybody loves those nook and crannies tours and behind the scenes, and they get to feel like they're part of your brand. And they're gleaning information that nobody else is getting. People love that. Make them a part of your brand. That's huge. Special events. If you're having an open house, if you're having a ribbon cutting, if you are doing a tasting, that's a great way to promote it. Let people know via video. A new employee, and this is so important for lots of reasons. Hey, it lets people know you're hiring, so thereby growing. That's a great thing. Your new employee will feel fabulous because you put the attention on them and welcome them aboard in a very official way. And it's great fodder for people to watch. They want to see who's the new guy on the block, right? So you get to win-win-win with this one. And then finally, and this is my favorite, and I do it all the time because it's super fun, right? Shout outs. Putting the attention on somebody or some other business, right? Taking the spotlight and shining it on. So how do you spotlight other organizations? Who can you shine that light on? Business partners. If you, I'll use you as an example. As a social media specialist, many people think that I build websites. I don't build websites. I didn't even build my own. But I work with people who build websites because we refer people back and forth, right? Once they have a great website, then I can put together a solid social media marketing plan for them, and we can work in tandem. So oftentimes I will put the spotlight on the business partners that I refer. Okay. Secondly, and we talked about this a little bit, Nonprofit organizations, if there is a cause that is near and dear to your heart and it's completely appropriate to put on your business page, give them a shout out. Do you know how hard it is for nonprofit organizations to get the word out about their mission and vision? The more we can help them, the more opportunity they have not to only gain donors, but also to gain public awareness and maybe even gain extra volunteers. Those extra sets of hands are so, so important. And then just local small businesses. Say you went into this shop and this, I don't know, if those kind of look like croissants in the front there, we're gonna go with that. If I go into a place that's a small business and they have a fantastic coffee product, fill in the blank, I'm gonna give them a shout out because now I get to be their hero because I shouted them out and I shared them with my network. And B, my network is thrilled because maybe they know about a business that they didn't know about before. Maybe they like croissants too, and they want to go and have them. So I get to be the hero for both of those sets of people, and it's fabulous. This is another very big question, and it's an awful answer, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. What's the big secret about when is the best time to post? The best time to post is when your target market is active on Instagram. I know that's a very nondescript answer, but each one of us has a different target market. If you are targeting teachers, probably not the best time to post during the school day, right? They are likely teaching. They are not on social media. Why not catch them in the evenings or on the weekends, right? Makes more sense. Be there when they are going to be there, okay? If you're looking for to touch base with people on LinkedIn, guess when the best time is? People are more on LinkedIn when they're during their workday. So that Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, is the best time to post on LinkedIn. So it just depends on when your target market is active on Instagram. Here is what Hootsuite will tell you, that the worst day, and that's as important as the best day, is Sunday on Instagram. The best times are Monday, Tuesday, Friday at 11 a.m., Tuesday at 2 p.m. This is a guideline. This is by no means the end-all be-all answer. But the best way to learn, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, is to try it, right? Try some at a certain time to see what your response is. Try some at a different time and do that A/B test, see which works better, okay? How often should I post? You know, how do I need to post once a week? Should I be posting every day? Big secret. A business should post on Instagram as often as its market will bear. And this is a crazy situation, but it's one that I ran into, and I'm going to share it with you just as a maybe don't do this kind of a tip. I did a social media audit for a client when people in business want to find out, okay, what's going on in our footprint, who's doing what really well, how can we improve, that kind of thing. We do a social media audit for them, just to where they are in the market and help them determine their social media marketing strategy. They gave me one of their competitors because I'd actually go out and look at several competitors, and we found that it is a retail consignment shop. This particular business posted, well, let me start with saying they had over 30,000 followers on both Facebook and Instagram. That's a pretty good number. I think any of us in the room would be thrilled with that number of followers, right? They posted an average, not once, but I mean an average of 27 times per day. I do not know any business or person interesting enough that they need to post 27 times per day. And the numbers told me I was exactly spot on, because with 30,000 followers, each one of their posts was only getting 0 to 2 likes a piece. And why is that? Because basically their feeds were like trying to drink water from a fire hose. People didn't know where to start. I kind of like that, but there's another one coming in a minute. So why should I like that? Just be cognizant of what your market will bear. It was very obvious that their particular market of followers, they were being inundated, and they reflected that in their numbers. Okay. So here's a breakdown, right? 30% of people post less than one post per week. 65% of people post 1 to 6 times per week, which I would say is most businesses' sweet spot, okay? And 5% post 7+ times per week. I'm gonna say for most people, 3 to 4 times a week is plenty. It's not overly heavy-handed, It's not that you're off the grid. I think in that space, I think either one of those is fine. So here are just some quick guidelines. Try and shoot to post day once, Monday through Friday. Unless you have it all planned out, it's probably not gonna happen that way. So even if you fall short and posting 3 times per week, you're still on that sweet spot, right? Go for quality versus quantity. I promise you, it is more important to focus on your content than it is to focus how often you are posting. Because if you're posting a bunch of times and it's not good posts, does it really matter? No. I'd rather see 2 really good posts from you per week than watching you crack your brain to try and come up with 5, right? And like we talked about earlier, do those A/B tests. Look and keep an eye on the results. Find out what's working and what's not. And if you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, but you're not watching what the outcome and the results are, you're not going to learn from it. You're not going to learn how to navigate that social media platform. You're like, Heather, this is awesome. I'm going to do it all. How do I get it all done? Because guess what? I do this for a living, but you guys all have a business to run or jobs to do. So this is only one thing that you need to do, right? Here's how to get it done. You need to create a social media posting calendar and automate it by scheduling all of your stuff at one time. Now, I understand you're going to have things that are organic, that you need to post in a timely manner. If you are at an event and you're going to do a live reel, guess what? It needs to be done right then. It can't be scheduled ahead of time. But all of those static posts or things that you know are upcoming, you can put in all at one time and take that off of your plate, right? Just put it in there and you don't have to worry about it the rest of the month. All you need to do is time block those few hours to get it all done and it will be done. You can do this through, most platforms have their own scheduling, but here's the deal. I have accounts that I have 8 different accounts that I need to post the same content to. I'm not going in individually doing that. It's too time consuming. And again, we talked about this. It's going to cost time or it's going to cost money. I'm not spending the time to go into every single platform post. I'm going to spend a little bit of money if I need to and use a third-party scheduling platform. Hootsuite, Buffer, Sprout Social, I believe all of them I think they all have a free component, but there are limitations, right? Maybe you can only use a certain number of platforms. Maybe you can only schedule, so many weeks out. Maybe you can only schedule so many posts per time. But I believe all of them have a free component. Be careful when you choose and make sure you find a platform that will post to your Google business profile as well. I think they're kind of all getting up to speed now, but there was a time when it would not post to Google. Okay, so just keep an eye on that as well, because that's imperative. Here it is, my favorite tool in the entire world, Canva. Hopefully you guys are familiar with it. It is a graphics program. It's based in Australia, and it is phenomenal. When I tell you there are millions of templates on here, I'm not exaggerating. Pieces of art, templates, ideas, great ways for you to make very professional looking content and graphics for your social media. Okay, here's the great thing. Canva is absolutely free. Now, that said, you don't get all the bells and whistles, meaning you don't get all of the templates. You don't get all of the pictures. You don't get all of the functionality. Here's the beautiful thing. $119 a year. There is never a day in my life that I am as happy to point down $119 a year as I am sending that money to Canva. I promise you, I would pay that per month. Let's not tell them. You don't need to know that. But I would pay that per month for the functionality that this particular platform offers. If you have a team of people that you need to be able to use it, you can have 5 seats on Canva Pro, and that's what it's called, Canva Pro, for $300 per year. That's only $60 per person. That is a bargain at any rate. And here's a beautiful thing. If you know or are involved with, if you work at a not-for-profit organization, you have to fill out one form and you can use Pro absolutely free. It really is. It's a great platform. YouTube. Look right here. Instagram specific templates right away, right? Sorry, I had to take another sip. They also have the same templates for Facebook, LinkedIn, all of the headers you need to create for your platforms. It is awesome. You can use Canva to do, to make PowerPoints, to build a website, you can actually put a design on a t-shirt, have it printed and mailed to you right from Canva. And by the way, they're very inexpensive as far as printing goes. It is a wonderful, wonderful platform. I am not, I'm not aligned with Canva in any way other than to be a user. I've done over 6,000 designs in there. I hope to do another 60,000. It is honestly the best tool that I have for my business. And I know I do social, but even if I didn't, it would still be one of the best tools for any business. It is awesome. That is all I have for you today. I wanted to leave time for questions. If you would like to have virtual coffee, I am happy to meet with you. I usually meet with several people off at SCORE each month just to talk about your business, right? Just to learn more about you and see if I can point you in the right direction. It's totally free. All you have to do is email me. That is here. You'll also have it when Laura emailed it to you, and I'm happy to help you get where you need to be, or at least point you in the right direction. I appreciate Laura and SCORE having me today. We're going to have another presentation next month. I believe next month is LinkedIn, which is, if you are not on LinkedIn, you 100% should be. And it's the platform that most people don't get as much, right? Because you're not going to get all the fun bells and whistles and quizzes and what kind of potato am I on there, but it's business oriented and it's where the money is. So if you can join us for learning to love LinkedIn for your small business, we're going to do that on Thursday, June 20th, same time, 9 a.m. And you can sign up for that on the website for your school. So thank you, Laura, and I will entertain any questions that anyone has.
All right, everybody, any questions, you can raise your hand, type in the Q&A and also in the chat, and Heather can answer them.
And if nothing occurs to you now, you can always pop a question in text. You can send it to me via email. I don't know about you guys, but I usually come up with my question about 15 minutes after the webinar ends. And so it's absolutely fine just to reach out for a quick answer to the question too. I'm happy to answer.
There's a lot of great information, Heather. Everybody's processing. Also, guys, we have a couple more workshops this month for SCORE. We have next week on the 22nd is on insurance. So if you're considering insurance for yourself or your employees, this is a great workshop. And then on the 29th is writing a business plan, which is always a popular workshop. So, all right, let's see any questions. I'm not seeing anything, Heather.
All right, sounds good. We answered them all.
All right, everybody. Well, have a great day. Thanks for coming to the workshop. Again, you will get a copy of the presentation and the video.
Thanks, you guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye, Heather.
Bye.